This is the views expressed right here on the Liberty and Freedom Network, broadcasting live on Spreaker.com. I did a podcast earlier. That wasn't live. It was recorded. So there you go. Go check it out. Some stuff I wanted to talk about, get off my chest, and we'll go from there. Go to Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. Check that out. Email us here at Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. We're now here on the 23rd of October, 2012. Thank you very much. Did you see the debates? I didn't, because it's all rigged. Said that before, and I'll say it again. I'll continue to say it. It's all rigged. Now, by that, by rigged, I mean the outcome is already spelled out. Now, somebody on Facebook was telling me that the Bilderberg Group doesn't have influence on who's going to be president. Yes, they do, all the way down to voting, because it's all a psychological operation behind the scenes to make you believe that you're voting for one over the other, which you're not. You're voting for the continuation of something. Same thing with Bush. When Clinton left office, George Bush came in, inherited, some stuff, and things weren't all that great in the Clinton administration in his second term, but Bush had some, what they called, political capital to deal with, and he blew it. He blew it. He had to vindicate his father and get the job done that his father didn't get done 20 years prior. And he did. He went to the wrong place, and, the rest is history. So when Obama inherited the mess, he just continued on where George Bush left off. Now that Obama's damaged goods, according to the elites in the Bilderberg Group, Romney's going to get in there. But, hey, hold on. I could be wrong. They may reappoint. Yes, you heard that right. Reappoint Obama. And the tyranny will continue. Either way, even if Romney did get in, it would still be, hell on earth, and probably wouldn't be as quick or as obvious, but it would be there. So, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? Really. To tell you the truth, I really believe that Obama will be reelected according to the process. I have a stinking suspicion, I could be wrong, that he's going to declare national emergency somewhere and suspend the Constitution in the elections. Let's hope that doesn't happen. Okay? Let's just hope that doesn't happen. Okay, it is possible, though. Very possible. Hey, we're going to take a little break. We're going to come on back. Go to Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. Check that out. I got a bunch of pictures up there and not too many articles that you can go check out. But go check Liberty and Freedom Network out. If you're on the website, check that out too as well. Buy my book, Many Directions a Man. And donate to listener-supported online radio. Keep the show up and the website going. And we'll be back right after this.
Listen to Angel Clark Monday through Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Radio Freedom News Network. RadioFreedom.us.
Have you heard about a show called Diane and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri? It's a talk show. Well, it's called Grab Bag Potpourri for a reason. They talk about everything under the sun, from education to politics, from lines at the cashier in the stores to parking lot drivers not paying attention. You want real radio? Well, you don't get any more real than that. That's Diane and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri talk show. Fridays at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, and a whole lot of fun.
We went to the streets to ask people, What do you like about Doc FM?
Oh, well, I think he's sexy. He has a very sexy voice, and he makes my headphones tingle.
I think the doctor is very smart. Everything he tells you, you must learn it, because it is smartness to know. Plus, he plays my favorite music. He plays like the 80s and the 70s and the 44s and the 62s.
J'ai pas eu une seule occasion de rester sans rien faire depuis que je suis arrivé à Camelot. Je suis trop occupé à courir derrière Arthur. Fais ci Merlin, fais ça Merlin. Et quand je cours pas derrière Arthur, je fais des corvées pour vous. Et quand je fais pas ça, j'accomplis mon...
Doc FM on Spreaker.com.
Well, it's no secret that Doctor won't play none of that countrified music, so I don't really listen to him that much, but when I do, it's a hold down. The first time that I listened to the Doctor, he was making fun of the British. After I got over my attitude, I came back and listened to him. He's wonderful and raucous.
Listen to Doc FM every Saturday evening, 7 p.m. Central, right here on Spreaker.com.
Welcome to the Views Expressed right here on the Liberty and Freedom Network. Broadcasting live on Spreaker.com. It is the 23rd of October, 2012. Welcome. Check out Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. That's where I'll be going. I posted a lot of pictures and I posted some articles up there. And if you want to check them out, go ahead. That's Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. Okay, here we are. Now, before I get into all of this, can I ask some of the techies out there that do all kinds of computer stuff to send me your answer to this next question? I'm doing the show here. I get all the stuff ready to go on the DJ console here at Spreaker, or actually when I'm just using my browser in any website. I move the cursor. It goes over the little bookmarks that I have and highlights them, but then I move my cursor away from them. They're still highlighted. Specifically when I have the Spreaker DJ console up and I go to either bring down a volume or click on, the save button or whatever. All I see is the cursor. I don't see the little finger, the little hand with the finger. And it doesn't work. I got to hit Control-Alt-Delete, bring up that, then close that out, and it works. I can press stuff and work stuff. And what gives? I'm using the Mozilla Firefox. I noticed that if I go to my Google Chrome and disable the shockwave, whatever the hell it is, says to disable this and to disable that, and then when I try to get into the DJ console, it can't. The Adobe Flash Player, I need to load that and all that, but it won't work with it on and it won't work with it off. Okay, so there's a big problem. My question is, what gives? What gives? I'm, to be totally honest, when I get the money, I'm dumping all PCs. Anything that has anything to do with PC, with Windows or anything of that nature, I'm dumping it. I'm going to Mac. I have heard great stories about Macs. People I know that own them say they don't have a problem. Techs that I talk to say the only problems with Macs and it's not software, it's usually hardware. Okay? It has nothing to do with software. And some of the salespeople I know at some of the stores say that it usually is the hardware that goes out on them. You know, so, but no computer is perfect. I understand that. But when you're trying to do a show and you're trying to get things up and running and everything, and then you got problems and then you can't use this and you can't do that. Yeah. Every single problem I've had has been with a Windows run PC. Every single problem. Okay? Everything. And you techies out there, help me out here. Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. I try to get the Windows Movie Maker, the Windows Live Essentials, right? Specifically. And I download it and I go to install it. It stops at 38, 39% and doesn't go anywhere after that. Doesn't. It stops. Doesn't move. Doesn't go anywhere. Doesn't load anything. It stops. So, to all you hardcore Windows people out there, what's the problem? Because as far as I am concerned, and I've been using Windows supported systems since 1995, I can tell you this. Windows sucks. No wonder their stock went from, the last time I checked many years ago, went from $169 a share down to less than $20 a share, because Windows and anything to do with Windows PC sucks. Okay, all of it. Okay? So you techies out there, give me some feedback. Send your stuff to Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. If, God, my ear is bugging me here. So anyway, hey, let's get on to some happier stuff, shall we? Go to Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. Please. Thank you. Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. You'll find all sorts of stuff there. First of all, you'll see a bunch of pictures. You'll see a picture that has a yellow tag there, and it's from Rag Press on Facebook. Says, "We are all human." There's a yellow tag, and it says 97% of people do not know that Osama bin Laden was a CIA agent in the 1980s. Look up Tim Osman. Look that up. Also, we have 100% proof that chemtrails cause death. We have that up there as well. There's also a video that was up last year at some point, floating around the internet. Facebook and connection to CIA. And I put up something, and you'll hear this if you hear the podcast. I wrote this. I listened to several people about what is happening in our world. I also check out a lot of other places like Associated Press, Reuters, etc. So I do have issues with people that will say they have, quote unquote, the truth, or they will tell me that my sources are wrong. Really? I'm just taking the information I receive and relay it to my audience on my show. Whether you like it, believe it, whatever, I also encourage people to check it out. I listen to Glenn Beck and Alex Jones. Two very different methods, two very different people. I don't always agree with everything, but on that somebody responded, Becky, responded. And she says, I think the people who say they absolutely know what is happening or what the truth is are somewhat delusional. If you accept that most of the information we have access to is filtered, censored, or outright propaganda, which I feel is probable but not always the case, then you must also accept that it is very near impossible to actually know exactly what's going on. Instead of, I know, or this is the truth, I prefer to use unlikely, possible, or probable to demonstrate how likely I think something is to be true. That said, people who ridicule people for not agreeing with their personal view of truth are just as much of the problem as the sheeple. And she says that in her humble opinion. I want to take a picture here on Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. The dangers of high fructose corn syrup. And it's in everything. It's in your bread, it's in your milk, and you name it, it's there. Well, let's go to, as soon as it comes up here, see, my browser is taking dumps, and it's just, I don't know. I don't know. There are a lot of things about Lance Armstrong, and I don't want to get off on that because I just don't. You know? Says here, what is this man-made sweetener? High fructose corn syrup. A host of other names also impersonate high fructose corn syrup, depending on which continent you live in. Alternate names: glucose syrup, fructose syrup, glucose, fructose, high fructose maize syrup, HFCG, or HFCS, excuse me, maize syrup, isoglucose, corn syrup, high maltose corn syrup, high fructose corn syrup, sneaky cousin. Presently, more and more people acknowledge the alarming side effects of ingesting high fructose corn syrup. For this reason, the Corn Refiners Association pestered the Food and Drug Administration to let them call their beloved money-making ingredient corn sugar instead of high fructose corn syrup in 2010. The FDA denied their plea to deceive the public this year. Now, if they can only ban HFCS altogether. History of high fructose corn syrup in a nutshell. High fructose corn syrup has a sweet index of 120. That is sweeter than sucrose. Why do companies use more then? The soft drink companies know that the sweeter they make it, the more people will buy their beverage. That's a quote from Dr. Robert Lustig. High fructose corn syrup graced us with its presence in the early 70s, back when the 37th President of the United States, Richard Nixon, ran the show. Housewives and farmers staged a raucous protest against soaring food prices. Therefore, Nixon devised a plan to appease the masses. He hired a snake by the name of Earl Butz, B-U-T-Z, to serve as Secretary of Agriculture in 1971. The world is still paying for that horrendous decision. What do you expect with this surname like Butz? He took those four American housewives, farmers, for a ride on the bamboozle train. Yes, Butz answered their pleas for cheaper food, but at a big price: their health. Farms turned into mass production fields, churning out low-cost food. Butz went all out with his motto, "Get big or get out." The birth of the industrial farms owes its roots to Mr. Earl Butz. Suddenly, farmers needed cheap food to feed their cattle. What was their golden ticket? You guessed it, corn. Corn also occupies the hearts of many of other countries, the UK, South Africa, Australia, Canada. However, Americans seem to be more in love with corn. The typical American meal consists of corn. For example, let us examine the average meal combo. Hamburger, chips, fries, a drink. The farmers feed genetically modified GM corn to the cows, corn-fed beef. The bread contains high fructose corn syrup to extend the shelf life. Chips are fried in corn oil. The ketchup squirts out corn syrup. The soft drink houses corn syrup. Corn syrup is everywhere. How does high fructose corn syrup make you fat? Jean-Marc Schwartz said some sugar will be converted to fat and some will not be converted to fat. Fructose is one sugar that is easily converted to fat. You can find fructose in table sugar and high fructose corn syrup. We all possess an essential hormone named leptin. This hormone tells your brain when to stop eating. That, in turn, makes you refuse those large helpings of fried chicken wings. Fructose blocks leptin from telling your brain that you are full. It tricks your brain into thinking you are starving. At the end, you are going through a brutal cycle of overeating, disease, and addiction, which explains why the population is getting sicker and fatter. High fructose corn syrup with extra mercury. What is high fructose corn syrup? A cheap-made sweetener and preservative. Many of your favorite processed foods and even some so-called natural foods contain this artificial ingredient. How is this toxic elixir made? And it goes on down through all sorts of things. Some popular foods with high fructose corn syrup. Quaker yogurt granola bars, Chewy Dips granola bars, oatmeal to go, breakfast cookies, grandma's cookies, Kraft Cool Whip, bunch of Betty Crocker, Subway. Yes, your wonderful Subway down at the end of your block. Beverages. Tropicana, Capri Sun, Kool-Aid, High C, Minute Maid, Barks Root Beer, Coca-Cola, Fanta, Nestea, NOS, Powerade, Seagram's, Sprite, Manzanita Soul, Mirinda, Mountain Dew, Mug, Pepsi, Amp Energy Drink, Lipton, Big Red, Dr. Pepper, Deli Meat, Oscar Mayer, and anything out of Subway. Sauces, there's condiments, there's dairy, candy bars, bread and pastries and breakfast cereals. All have high fructose corn syrup. I don't know what it's going to take for people to realize that we're eating way too much junk, okay? We're just eating way too much junk. Now, of course, people would say, well, go natural. Yeah, right. Have you ever eaten something like say you've been eating sweets, sandwiches, blah blah blah, and then all of a sudden 5 or 6 years later you want to get healthy and then you start eating cantaloupe or watermelon? You know how weird that tastes? Have you ever done that? Like, haven't eaten a banana in like 7 years or 8 years. Well, not, you know what I mean. But after a while, you go, hey, I'm going to eat a banana. I feel like eating a banana. You eat it and you taste it and you're going, ooh, kind of bitter. Whoa. Or having a weird aftertaste. That's because your body's taking in all that crap, all that genetically modified corn, all that corn syrup, all that garbage that's in you. And now you taste something totally different and your body's going, hey, wait a minute. Your brain's like, oh, whoa. You know, it's like activated something in there. But anyway, we need to push our city councils and our state governments to get rid of genetically modified foods everywhere and get rid of high fructose corn syrup. period. Now all the farmers are going to say, well, we can't do that because we grow our food and we need something cheap. Really? How about grass? There's a whole bunch of it out there, don't you think? Feed that to the cows. Anyway. And it's just one of those things, isn't it? Isn't it? I just think, I'm just going to say this is my opinion. Okay, this is just but that's what talk radio is. It's just opinions. My opinion is this. We need to force all food manufacturers to dump all of the poisons that, when I say dump, get rid of, just not put it in there in the foods that we eat. Well then, geez, if we did that, then a loaf of bread would be $8. No, it won't. You get rid of that. Well, it's not going to be on the shelf for very long. How do you think milk stays in the refrigerator for 2 weeks? Huh? How do you think bread on the shelf in the store stays there as long as it does? High fructose corn syrup and all the preservatives that are in there. Come on, we need to get the crap out of the food. We need to get it out, period. We can't have it in there. Just, no, So anyway, I'm going to go to break here. I started a couple minutes late, so I'm taking the breaks a little bit late. So bear with me. But again, all you techies out there, why am I having problems with this? Anyway, you're listening to the views expressed right here on the Liberty and Freedom Network, broadcasting live on Spreaker.com. We shall return right after this.
Are you tired of sending your kids to schools and nursing homes and seeing them shot up? Then you need the TSA. TSA! Let's go live to our reporter downtown.
Sir, can you tell us what's so great about the TSA?
Oh, I love the TSA. When I go to the airport, they grab my balls and make my wife take off her shirt. This is the most action I've had in years. TSA!
Their wonderful staff of ex-cons and child molesters will give you the respect that you deserve.
Are you tired of listening to boring online late-night radio? Then listen to Late Night in the Midlands with your host, Michael Vera, 9 p.m. to 12 midnight Eastern. Go to www.latenightinthe.midlands.com for more information.
Listen to Angel Clark Monday through Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Radio Freedom News Network. RadioFreedom.us.
Are you looking for an alternative to your normal everyday radio? Well, check out KTRNradio.com. Jay Towers and Brian Keller bring you everything that you ever wanted to know, even if you didn't want to know it. Go check out That Radio Show with your host, Jay Towers, and That BK Show with your host, Brian Keller, on KTRNradio.com. If you're into liberty and libertarian values, tune in to The Angel Clark Show, Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, at radiofreedom.us. Yeah! That's what I'm talking about there, man. Yeah. Give me a band, man. I need a band behind me. I'm gonna rock and roll. Yeah. See, now that's music right there, man. None of this rap crap that's currently out there. Okay. Anyway, hey, welcome back. This is Views Expressed right here in the Liberty and Freedom Network. How y'all doing for a Tuesday? Yeah, it's already Tuesday. Can you believe that? Man. Hey, little show note coming up. Last Friday, Angel Clark from the Angel Clark Show, radiofreedom.us or SussexCountyAngel.com, wasn't able to be on the show because she wasn't feeling well. Neither was I, but I muddled through my show. So she will be on, hopefully, cross my fingers, knock on wood, that she will be on this Friday for a half hour. We'll talk about, we'll just go down whatever rabbit hole she wants to go down. We'll talk about the candidates. We'll talk about voting. We'll talk about, you name it, we'll talk about it. But I do want to ask her about the debates, in regards to not only the personalities of the candidates, but also the issues that they talk about. Who's lying, who's not, and basically who won. I don't think anybody won the debates. I just think we've been buffaloed into believing that one of the candidates is better than the other. But I'll talk to her about that on Friday. That would be Angel Clark from the Angel Clark Show, radiofreedom.us or SussexCountyAngel.com. She can also be heard on Liberty Radio Network at LRN.com. And you can catch her on iTunes as well. She's all over the place. You've probably seen her on CNN and a few other places. She will be here. Angel Clark from the Angel Clark Show. RadioFreedom.us. SussexCountyAngel.com. And she'll be here. Also on the 29th on the Diana, and it's a special show. October 29th is a special show, is what I meant to say. And it will be at night. It'll be at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. We will have a show. I will be, or myself, or Diana will be interviewing Marie D. Jones about her new book that she has out. More details later in the week about that. If you, speaking of a book, if you're on the website, I know shameless self-promotion here. If you're on the website for the show, go to the right-hand side of the page. You'll see Many Directions of Man. That's a book I wrote. Check it out. It's just my observations of what's going on, some deep thoughts about that as well, and some possible solutions. Check that out, Many Directions of Man. It's also available at Amazon.com. Go to the left-hand side of the website for the show, and you will see some links up there, some tabs you see up there, and one of them says Store. Promote your patriotism by going to the store and buying everything that you see, or go down to the bottom on the left-hand side. You'll see a donate button. Donate as much as you like. This is listener-supported online radio. All it does is keep the website up and the show going. So thank you for your support. Do appreciate that very, very much. Go to Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. Check out some of the stories I got hanging up there. Sooner or later, I'll write my own stories. But I do have some things up there as well. And Steve Watson over at Infowars.com, or who writes for Infowars.com, as well as his brother Paul Joseph Watson, Steve Watson wrote, "Vote Obama for unaccountable drone warfare. Vote Romney for unaccountable drone warfare." Let's read that together, shall we? Both candidates agree secret kill lists and unaccountable CIA double-tap drone strikes are necessary. Last night's debate highlighted the fact that Barack Obama and Mitt Romney are in full agreement with each other that secret unmanned U.S. missile strikes documented to have killed thousands of innocent people are necessary and right. When Romney was asked about the U.S. policy on drone strikes in Pakistan and elsewhere, he responded, "Well, I'm not going to read this. There's a video associated with it, and you can go check that out." And let me give you my view of what these two people desire for this country. You can go to Liberty and Freedom Network and click on Vote Obama for Unaccountable Drone Warfare, Vote Romney for Unaccountable Drone Warfare. They're both the same people. I know that sounds kind of weird, but no, they have the same thoughts. There is no difference between them. None. Zero. Zip. Zilch. No difference whatsoever. No nothing. They're both bought and paid for by the same people. Bain Capital, of course, Romney used to work for, and no longer heads up, is now supporting Obama. But they're both being supported by Goldman Sachs. And they both have the same policies. Romney is nothing but a gun grabber. He wants to take your weapons. He doesn't want you to be able to defend yourself. He wants TSA out on the streets. He wants checkpoints. Obama, same thing. Doesn't matter. Romney can right now walk into the White House, sit down in the Oval Office, and nobody would ever notice. Okay? It wouldn't matter. Now, the thing is that Obama, I'm afraid, will be reappointed. Yes, you heard me right. Reappointed. Because, well, the little PR stunt that they pulled in Ohio, in Toledo, Ohio, was, I think, to his favor. To Obama's favor. The Obama phone, the woman that got caught with 30 Obama phones and selling them off and stuff like that, that kind of thing. Remember in 2008, his campaign, the woman came out and said, well, now we don't have to worry about gas. Now we don't have to worry about our mortgage. Now we don't, it's going to be paid for. Remember all that? Yeah, that was just totally ridiculous, wasn't it? This is totally ridiculous. Wonder what they're thinking now. Okay? There are two people who literally are the same people, the same everything, across the board. Okay? Romney says he wants to be Israel's friend. He's going to talk to Israel. Why? Oh, so they won't attack anybody. No. Even the people in Iran, where Ahmadinejad leads that whole country, even his people are pissed off at him. Okay? Because the people realize that Israel can just wipe them out in a heartbeat. And the people are looking at Ahmadinejad, the citizens of Iran are looking at Ahmadinejad going, you're a freaking idiot if you allow this to happen. If you keep pushing and things and opening your mouth, you dumbass, they're going to attack us. So his people are not very happy with him right now. Should we not attack them? I would say yeah. Because there's going to be, in Iran, an internal problem. And the people are going to stand up and rebel against what is happening. If they're not already, although you can't get any news from Iran because they've shut off the internet in that country, much like China. But even Russia told the U.S., don't back Israel. Because, Benjamin Netanyahu said, literally, he wants to attack Iran. And the Russians are telling us, don't back Israel. And we're going, okay. But then we load up the China Sea with a bunch of ships, and we're over there, and we're waiting. We're going to attack China, or China's going to come up to the rescue for Iran, and we've got to stop them. Do you see where all this is going? It's just completely amazing. You see what's happening? Okay? Do you see what's happening? All right? When I was living in Stockton, California, back in the early 90s, where I grew up. I was there. I was walking through, I believe it was Target or something like that. And it was 1993. And I was watching the news on the TV in the electronics department, and I'm seeing Iraq. And all of a sudden, I'm watching it, and I'm seeing the little scroll, and I'm hearing the newscaster. And they're talking about, they don't know when, but intelligence reports say that the U.S. was going to start bombing Iraq, Baghdad. Baghdad and go from there. Well, they did. And that wasn't, I got to tell you, that didn't make me happy. Didn't make me happy at all. And as far as what the U.S. can do, they have no other choice but to side with Israel. Okay? In my opinion. And with this current president, not even, this current president went every place else other than Israel to keep ties with Israel. Did you notice when he became president, or even, I think it was shortly afterwards or something like that, he went to Germany and had that big old thing, and he's up there talking to the German people. Why didn't he go to Israel? Because he doesn't like Israel. You know why? Because that's how he grew up. What do you think he heard in the church with Jeremiah Wright? What do you think he understood from that point? He was taught to hate Israel. He was taught to hate Israel. Now, he says he'd like to sit down, but now, what are they doing? I hear they're opening discussions with Israel. Yeah, it's an election year, of course. He wants to look good. He doesn't want to get his butt kicked. Okay? So anyway, what's the point? The point is, we have to do what we have to do to protect our allies. But we don't want to get into a World War III. So how are we going to do that diplomatically? This is an election year. Romney, from what I understand, could care less about Israel. Oh, we're going to sit down with Israel and talk. Yeah, you try that. You try stopping Prime Minister Netanyahu from bombing Iran, because their intelligence has said that Iran has and is maybe a couple of years to 4 years away from having a nuclear weapon. So why not stop them now, right? I mean, that's pretty logical, right? So think about it. Think about it. There is something to be said when it comes to protecting your allies. And if we have to protect Israel, I'm sure we will. But I don't know. Seeing as how things are like all topsy-turvy upside down at this point. I don't know. They've been known to stage some really bad, terrorist activity. They've been known to be involved in it. And doesn't make us look good. Because all the world is looking at them saying, well, doesn't the United States back them? Well, it's on record that we now fund Al-Qaeda. So, I don't know, man. I don't know, dude. What do we do? We got to do what we have to do. We have to protect ourselves. We have to protect our allies. We have to do what we have to do. Am I for Israel? The jury is still out on that. I'm not sure if I should be pro-Israel, but they've done a lot of good things too, so I don't know. Anyway, we'll talk about that in a little bit more and when we get back from this break. And this is the views expressed on the Liberty and Freedom Network, broadcasting live on Spreaker.com.
Late Night in the Midlands is an alternative media that covers the truth, theory, and fact that the lamestream media won't talk about. We cover everything from the known and the unknown, the normal and the paranormal, the government lies and the government ties, and even their thrive. We tell what's coming, what's going, whether it be politics or archaeologists. We have an amazing fan base, and our shows are all archived to be heard millions of times more. So tell your friends, your family, and anybody you care about LateNightInTheMidlands.com. Become a member and be informed.
Come listen to Journey into Light with your host, Michael Long. The show is about looking into the afterlife. Where do our souls go from here? What are the true messages from above? Everybody is family, so make a journey into light with Michael Long your home. With the best guests on the show, they share the love with all who call in and those who are in the chat room. That's Journey into Light with Michael Long, Sunday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, on blogtalkradio.com/Journey into the Light. Eastland Sci-Fi Radio Theater is looking for you. Are you a voice actor looking to hone your abilities? Are you a writer looking for actors? Then Eastland Sci-Fi Radio Theater is for you. If you are a voice actor or a writer of sci-fi themed radio plays, send your information to Eastland Radio Films at USA.com. For more information, go to eastlandradiofilms.wix.com/Eastland Films for more information. If you are a voice actor, send your audition clips to eastlandradiofilms@usa.com. This is the views expressed right here on the Liberty and Freedom Network, broadcasting live on Spreaker.com. Yeah, this is the 23rd of October, 2012. Yes, it is. Got a lot to do, a lot to talk about. Go to Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook or email us at libertyandfreedomnetwork@usa.com. Hey, yeah, go to Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. Check out what is happening over there. Got a video by the late George Carlin. Voting is meaningless, and it sure is. I wanted to talk about something that, to me, I believe is very important. And I find it incredibly odd. I say odd because I find it odd that I find it odd that people literally seem to think that the more they drink the Kool-Aid, the better off they're going to be. I don't see it that way. I really don't. I think the more you drink the Kool-Aid, the less you're ever going to know. But that's just me. From Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook, you'll scroll on down, you'll see a video. It says 100% proof that chemtrails cause death. And of course, an older article from RT.com. Court upholds NDAA stay extended on indefinite detention injunction. Of course, there's another video, Facebook connection to CIA. How do you like them apples? There's so much that we got to get through. I may not get through the whole hour, but we will get through most of it. I started late today, and some of my breaks are going to be a little bit late, but that's okay. I'm not beholden to any to any network. It's my network. I can do whatever I want. So now, if people were paying me, that would be a totally different story. Thing is that when you look at look at things around you, you're out and about, you're grocery shopping, whatever. You'll see things out there. You'll see things out there that you will have to question. Okay? There's things out there that I know that you'll have to question. And if that doesn't make you to, take an adventure down the rabbit hole, I don't know what will. I said on the podcast earlier, I put up a pre-recorded podcast earlier today, that there is someone on Spreaker who says that they're going to expose Alex Jones and other people of that nature. That they've they have been, they have come to the conclusion that, whatever. They're going to reveal the truth, all this, that, and the other thing. I've heard that many, many times from many different people, and I can tell you right now, as I said before on the podcast, it's going to come back and bite you in the ass. If you try to expose people and do everything to rip them apart and get other people to look at them the way that you do, the only person that they're going to be looking at is you. And your reputation and your integrity are going to be shot. Because you start bad-mouthing somebody else, they're going to come after you. I know, I've been there. Trust me, I've seen the light, okay? Like, I worked hard to get my reputation back to where I was, where I could at least be comfortable with myself. So now I'm just at the point where if people don't believe me, I'm not going to waste my time with them. They can go off and wander off into the forest of confusion for all I care. It doesn't really matter. They can believe in a Keebler elf for all I care. I'm not gonna waste my time with their ignorance. I'm not gonna lower myself down to their level of ignorance. I'm not gonna do it. That's just me. That's just me. This is the 23rd of October, 2012. You're listening to The Views Expressed live. I'm your host, Reverend Wayne S. Pierce, on the Liberty and Freedom Network, broadcasting live on Spreaker.com. Do you want liberty-minded radio? There's no other straightforward radio you will ever hear than The Angel Clark Show. Join Angel Monday through Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern at www.radiofreedom.us. That's The Angel Clark Show, Monday through Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern at radiofreedom.us. Listen to The Sandy Fox Show, playing a variety of music including rock, pop, and country. The Sandy Fox Show is a production of the Force Radio Network. You can find her and all of the great FRN shows on Spreaker.com, Icedcast.org, and by searching for Force Internet Radio on TuneIn.com. You can also find great mobile apps on TuneIn.com to take the live shows and replays with you. The Force Radio Network. Real radio for real people. want more entertainment value than your dollar can buy you at the movies? Listen to the Chris Top Program on Spreaker.com.
Late Night in the Midlands is an alternative media that covers the truth, theory, and fact that the lamestream media won't talk about. We cover everything from the known and the unknown, the normal and the paranormal, the government lies and the government ties, and even their thrive. We tell what's coming, what's going, whether it be politics or archaeologists. We have an amazing fan base, and our shows are all archived to be heard millions of times more. So tell your friends, your family, and anybody you care about LateNightInTheMidlands.com. Become a member and be informed.
Come listen to Journey into Light with your host Michael Long. This show is about looking into the afterlife. Where do our souls go from here? What are the true messages from above? Everybody is family, so make a journey into light with Michael Long your home. With the best guests on the show, they share the love with all who call in and those who are in the chat room. That's Journey into Light with Michael Long, Sunday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, on blogtalkradio.com/Journey into the Light. Eastland Sci-Fi Radio Theater is looking for you. Are you a voice actor looking to hone your abilities? Are you a writer looking for actors? Then Eastland Sci-Fi Radio Theater is for you. If you are a voice actor or a writer of sci-fi themed radio plays, send your information to Eastland Radio Films at USA.com. For more information, go to eastlandradiofilms.wix.com/EastlandFilms for more information. If you are a voice actor, send your audition clips to Eastland Radio Films at USA.com. Howdy. This is the views expressed right here on the Liberty and Freedom Network, broadcasting live on Spreaker.com for the 23rd of October, 2012. Thank you all for being here. Thank you. You can get a hold of us at Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. That's Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. Go to Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. Check things out there. Fascism. The definition of is the doctrines and methods or movement of the fascist. A system of government characterized by rigid one-party dictatorship, forcible suppression of opposition, private economic enterprise under centralized government control, belligerent nationalism, racism, and militarism, etc. A political movement based on such policies and a fascist behavior. A frighteningly accurate description of the age of Obama. Go to 10thamendmentcenter.com for more information. Washington, D.C. will never solve America's problems. Washington, D.C. is America's problems. 10thamendmentcenter.com. Check that out. The Army wants 20,000 drones, and they've just ordered up a whole bunch of new ones. You know that? Yeah. Isn't that lovely? Just how this whole system of government, what we consider to be a free country, is now steeped in 16 or 17 trillion dollars debt. And it probably goes a lot further than that with unfunded liabilities. You're probably looking at anywhere between $300 to $800 trillion. Plus, with all the money printing and all the interest on the fake money that they pull out of their butts, that they print, devaluing the dollar in your pocket, we're probably looking at a debt of more than $2 quadrillion. Okay? Could be wrong in that. Could be. From Conspiracy Theory with Jesse Ventura on True TV's Facebook page, it says the debt is a fraudulent derivative scam and therefore defunct. Repeal the fraudulent hijacked governments and their fake debts, declare independence from private bank scams, end the Fed, and hang the banksters. Look what Iceland did. It's time to get Icelandic on Wall Street. New York Times, I'm repeating, New York Times says, and I quote, Iceland let its 3 largest banks fail instead of bailing them out. It ensured that domestic depositors got their money back and gave debt relief to struggling homeowners and to businesses facing bankruptcy. Quote, unquote. And their economy is booming. Okay? Both parties in this election are bought off by Goldman Sachs. I said that. Don't blame me, says the picture here on Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. I voted for the other guy. Goldman Sachs bought off. Number 1 in campaign contributions for Barack Obama in 2008. Did you know that Goldman Sachs has given Barack Obama $1.1 million and counting? Number 1 in campaign contributions for Mitt Romney in 2012. Did you know that Goldman Sachs has given Mitt Romney $1.02 million and counting? Let me give you the exact numbers. 2008 for Barack Obama from Goldman Sachs, $1,138,465. 2012 contributions from Goldman Sachs to Republican nominee Mitt Romney, $1,026,415 and counting. Just to run for president? Who owns your candidate? Okay? I didn't put too much up there on Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. But I can tell you this much. I don't know. I find it incredibly odd. Odd, not funny, haha odd, but odd like WTF odd that there are people out there that absolutely positively cannot wake up to the fact that all elections, all voting, all of that is a complete and utter fraud. I'm seeing it each and every day. Let me tell you why. Here I was in high school, and folks, I graduated high school in 1980, okay? I'm 50 years old, all right? I don't feel like it. My body's telling me differently, but I don't feel like I'm 50, okay? When I was in high school, when I was 16, 17 years old, I knew that something was drastically wrong with the system that we lived in. It wasn't so much that we needed to change it to anything totalitarian, because those systems throughout history have failed miserably, every single last one of them, and I don't care if it's communism, fascism, socialism, or anything else for that matter. They fail miserably. The only reason why America has, or that the United States has stood as strong as they have for the last 200 and some odd years is because of its people demanding from its politicians that they do what we tell them to do, that they protect our God-given right to liberty and freedom and the pursuit of happiness. But when I looked back and I saw something change, and specifically it was me, I saw through the Reagan era that something was drastically wrong with the disaster at Grenada in President Carter's regime, and into the capture of Americans for 400 and some odd days. Do you see how convenient that was when Reagan became president, and about a week later or whatever it was, the captors came home? It's kind of weird, wasn't it? So here I am. I look back in history, and I examine my own history, and I look at what has changed and what has caused this country to go from a free and sovereign people to a very subjugated people under a fascist regime in Washington, D.C. I have asked myself that for many years, especially in the King Bush the second era from 2000 to 2008. And I sit back and I look at all this stuff, and I'm saying, now wait a minute, how did we go from this to this? How did we go from that to this? A country is only as strong as its people. And why is it in every election cycle we only get anywhere between, 43 to 46% people voting? I like what people tell me. If you don't vote, don't bitch. That's what they tell me. I'm like, what? I registered to vote for the first time in my life because I look back from the time I was in high school to the time I was 29 years old when I registered to vote. Or 28, I was something like that. And I thought to myself, you know what? I might as well get into the process and see what this whole hubbub of voting is all about. So I began to take the information that I had and additional information that I received, and I began to look at it and examine it. And I began to examine the fact that there were pros and cons on the propositions. There was this, there was that, blah, 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 blah. And I found out one thing that helped me understand most of what is happening today. It's all a psychological operation to make you believe that your votes count. Look what happened in 2000 with Al Gore. Look what happened in 2004 with John Kerry. things began to fall apart. Okay? Things began to fall apart, and I began to see this, and I began to look at it, and I began to examine it, and the further down I went, down the rabbit hole I went, I realized this isn't the rabbit hole that Alice in Wonderland went down. This is not the land of Oz. This is not Kansas anymore, Toto. And my eyes were open, and I looked around, and I went, something is seriously wrong. And I began to tell people, and began to look at people and tell me, and here's the information, and people were looking at me like I was an alien from another planet. I heard it all. I've heard it all. There isn't anything I have heard. People have criticized me for things they don't understand. When you don't understand something, what's the next step in that parade? You want to kill it. You want to get rid of it. You want to push it aside. You don't want to have anything to do with it. Right? Because you don't want to take the time to learn and find out what it is. I found a hell of a lot of people like that. I would present them with the information that I have, and they would look at me going, that's a lie. Really? I got it right here on good authority that it isn't. And they look at me like, oh, yeah, right, you'd believe anything, wouldn't you? I've heard that. I've heard, oh, you're one of those conspiracy theorists. Why are you believing in those conspiracy theories? I put the information in front of their face, and I show it to them. And they still don't believe me. That's like seeing a guy watering his lawn. You know, you've seen those people out there with the hose in front of their front lawn, watering, you know, spraying around it. You can walk up to him and yell and scream and jump up and down and tell him and point at the house, it's on fire. Your house is on fire. Oh, stop giving me that conspiracy crap. My house isn't on fire. Stop that. You're just trying to scare me. And he's out there watering his lawn with the hose, but his house is burning down behind him. We have to understand one very simple fact. This government, Washington, D.C., is not for you. This country stands on several principles, but one that I know of, and that is liberty and freedom. We need to go to Washington, D.C., and we need to tell the president or whoever is up there, including Congress, number one, get rid of your lobbyists. Number two, get rid of special interest groups. Number three, get rid of the Federal Reserve. Number four, get rid of the IRS. Number five, Mr. President, you will do what we tell you to do. But unfortunately, none of us have the balls nor the guts to do any one of those. Yes, we can inject the idea into the issues. Yes, we can inject these things into the system. But I haven't heard Mitt Romney say he wants to get rid of the Fed, the Federal Reserve, or the IRS. I haven't heard any one of the candidates say anything of that nature. Tonight, the third-party candidates are going to have a debate amongst themselves because they're all different and they all have different views, so why not? It's going to be on C-SPAN. We need to simplify the government. And when I say government, I mean everything. You and I make up the government. Washington, D.C. are the leaders, or should be leaders, that we elect to go there to represent us. That's originally how it was supposed to be. So we need to tell them, either you do what we tell you to do, or we will vote you out of office. And your political career will be in jeopardy. President Kennedy tried to tell tried to do what he did, and look what happened to him. Abraham Lincoln, who did call martial law and suspend the Constitution during the war in 1861-62, well, look what happened to him. Look what happened to Garfield. Look what almost happened to Ronald Reagan. If it wasn't for the fact that people questioned what was going on, I don't think that we would have anything that today in the alternative media that would ever be so enlightening as it is. Have we woken up to the truth? Have we woken up to the aspect that we know more than they do? Let's hope, okay? And it doesn't matter what we have. We can have stacks and stacks of honest, truthful, credible information, and we can put it in the face of our friends who think that we're totally nuts and need a rubber room somewhere. They're going to believe whatever it is they want to believe. It's wrong, but they're going to believe it. How many people do you know that want Romney? How many people do you know that want Obama? I would not put it past the elites and the banking cartels to turn around and to somehow use our military or FBI or CIA or somebody of that nature to create a false flag event in this country so that the president would be justified in calling for a national emergency and suspending the Constitution and elections. I would not put it past them at all. So what do? What do we do? The voice of one crying in the wilderness. We need to get out there and say more. We need to get out there and do more. We need to do what we have to. That does not mean go out and throw bricks through windows or turn over cars or burn things. No, that's just stupid. We need to gather people together and say, hey, we need to protest this. We need to get the GMOs out of the food. We need to get the fluoride out of the water. We need to get, everything changed. Because the original concept of this government was of the people, by the people, for the people. But it seems to me that people don't have the balls or the guts to stand up and do what they know they need to do. In a peaceful and legal way, of course. We need to do what we need to do. And I hope that you can understand also that, and I know this, that you in your own heart know what's right. So to change and to, stop listening to the stupid TV and all that news propaganda that's out there. It's not even news. I don't want to call it news anymore. It's liberal propaganda. And you need to shut that damn TV off, and you need to go out and you need to make sure that your city council understands how disappointed you are with them. You need to go to the public meetings of the county board of supervisors, and you need to tell them not to sign on to this stupid Agenda 21 sustainable development bull crap. And you need to tell them how important it is to bring liberty and freedom to the people instead of catering to the big money and the unlimited funds of the United Nations. But I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm here to hopefully enlighten you and encourage you to go out and check this information out yourself. Go look it up. Sustainable development. Go look up Agenda 21. Go see how much of a mess that thing is. And it basically, and go look up the executive orders that Obama has already signed. It's been, I think he's in the 4 years that he's been in office, signed over 300 executive orders. One of them literally takes over all transportation, seaports, and everything else. So I don't know. You can do what you need to do what you believe is right in your heart to do. Because the only person at the end of the day that you're going to be responsible for is you. And you're obligated to take care of your family, your friends, your county, your city, your state. But you can't go it alone. You have to do what you have to do, I'm sure. I'll take a little break at the bottom of the hour here. I got one more after that, and we shall return. And I'm going to get into some more stuff on Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. Go to Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook, like the page. This is the views expressed on the Liberty and Freedom Network, broadcasting live on Spreaker.com. Are you looking for an alternative to your normal everyday radio? Well, check out KTRNradio.com. Jay Towers and Brian Keller bring you everything that you ever wanted to know, and even if you didn't want to know it. Go check out That Radio Show with your host, Jay Towers, and That VK Show with your host, Brian Keller, on KTRNradio.com. What's the word on the street? There's only one place you can get that question answered. Mobster Boss Radio. How do you deal with people? Your questions and more will be answered on Mobster Boss Radio. Come join JD and Sonny and Lester on Mobster Boss Radio and find out what they think about the world around them. Go to www.mobsterbossradio.com.
It's 106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
Do you wear your sunglasses at night? Well, maybe you do some other crazy things too. Why not add The Sandy Fox Show to your list? You can find me on Spreaker.com, Icecast.org, and TuneIn.com. Fox out.
You're listening to The Views Expressed right here on the Liberty and Freedom Network. Yes, this is Liberty and Freedom Network. You are listening to The Views Expressed. I am your host, Reverend Wayne S. Pierce, for the 23rd of October, 2012. How y'all doing? Email us at libertyandfreedomnetwork@usa.com. That's libertyandfreedomnetwork@usa.com. Go to Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. Check us out. Check us out there. If you're on the website, please check that out too, man. I got a chat box there I'm never in. I should start using it. But anyway, also if you're on the website, go to the right-hand side of the page. You'll see a book called Many Directions of Man. That's my book, just my observations of what's going on how I see things and possible solutions. On the left-hand side of the page, you'll see a bunch of links, a bunch of tabs. Click on Store and promote your patriotism. Yes, you can buy stuff there as well. If you don't want to buy the book or buy stuff, go to the left-hand side of the page. Down below, you'll see a button that says Donate. This is listener-supported online radio. Your contributions are very much appreciated, and all that does, all three of those things do, is keep the website up and the show going. So if you like the show, contribute. If you don't, hey, Spreaker has some great plans that probably fit your budget, and you can create a show on your own and talk about whatever you want as well. Go to www.spreaker.com. Check all that out. Anyway, onward and upward. Go to Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. You can contact us through there or at Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. Now, yesterday, I talked about something that I really didn't get into a whole lot. I just mentioned it pretty much. And that was CBS News affiliate calls 2012 presidential race for Barack Obama weeks ahead of the election. That's at thedailycaller.com. That's not what I wanted to get into, sorry. What I wanted to get into was this. Now, if I can find it, I think I love it. I'm scrolling down the page, and the page decides to jump for some odd reason. Anyway, here it is. Yay, I found it. From activistpost.com, 14 incredibly creepy surveillance technologies that Big Brother will be using to spy on you. Yeah. Did you know they were doing that? Uh-huh. It's Michael Snyder, contributor over there at activistpost.com. Thank you. First one off the top of the list, folks. Oh, you're going to love this. Pre-crime surveillance cameras. BRS Labs is to install its devices on the transport system in San Francisco, which includes buses, trams, and subways. The company says it will put them in 12 stations with up to 22 cameras each, bringing the total to 288. The cameras will be able to track up to 150 people at a time in real time and will gradually build up a memory of suspicious behavior to work out what is suspicious. Number 2, capturing fingerprints from 20 feet away. Kind of technology that is actually already here, according to PopSci. Gaining access to your gym or office building could soon be as simple as waving a hand at the front door. The Huntsville, Alabama-based company called iDare is developing a system that can scan and identify a fingerprint from up to 20 feet away. Currently, iDare's primary customer is the military, but a startup wants to open up commercially to any business or enterprise that wants to put a layer of security between its facilities and the larger world. Number 3, mobile backscatter vans. You've probably heard of these, right? Police all over America will soon be driving around in unmarked vans, looking inside of your cars and even under your clothes using the same quote-unquote porno scanner technology currently being utilized by the TSA at U.S. airports. These porno scanner wagons will look like regular anonymous vans and will cruise America's streets indiscriminately, peering through the cars and clothes of anyone in range of its mighty isotope cannon. But don't worry, it's not a violation of privacy. As AS&E's Vice President of Marketing, Joe Reese, says, quote, "From a privacy standpoint, I'm hard-pressed to see what the concern or objection could be. You can see the presentation, the video presentation of the technology on YouTube. Number 4, hijacking your mind. The U.S. military literally wants to be able to hijack your mind. The theory is that this would enable U.S. forces to non-violently convince terrorists not to be terrorists anymore. But obviously, the potential for abuse with this kind of technology is extraordinary. The following is from a recent article by Dick Pelletier. The Pentagon's Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, DARPA, wants to understand the science behind what makes people violent, and then find ways to hijack their minds by implementing false but believable stories in their brains with hopes of evoking peaceful thoughts. We're friends, not enemies. Critics say that this arises ethical issues such as those addressed in a 1971 sci-fi movie, A Clockwork Orange, which attempted to change people's minds so they didn't want to kill anymore. Advocates, however, believe that placing new plausible narratives directly into the minds of radicals, insurgents, and terrorists could transform enemies into kinder, gentler citizens. Really? Number 5, unmanned drones in U.S. airspace. The Department of Homeland Security has launched a program to, quote, facilitate and accelerate the adoption, unquote, of small unmanned drones by police and other public safety agencies, an effort that an agency official admits faces, quote, a very big hurdle having to do with privacy, unquote. A $4 million air-based technology program, which will test and evaluate small unmanned aircraft systems, is designed to be a middleman between drone manufacturers and first responder agencies, quote, before they jump into the pool, unquote, said John Appleby, a manager of DHS Science and Technology Directorate's Division of Borders and Maritime Security. Unmanned drones. Number 6, law enforcement using your cell phone to spy on you. Mobile carriers responded to a staggering 1.3 million law enforcement requests last year for subscriber information, including text messages and phone location data, according to data provided to Congress. The number of Americans affected each year by the growing use of mobile phone data by law enforcement could reach into the tens of millions, as a single request could insure dozens and even hundreds of people. Law enforcement has been asking for so-called quote-unquote cell tower dumps, in which carriers disclose all phone numbers that connected to the given tower during a certain period of time. See, they can do this. Number 7, biometric databases. In the last 2 years, over 200 million Indian nationals have had their fingerprints and photographs taken, and irises scanned and given a unique 12-digit number that should identify them everywhere and to everyone. Number 8, RFID microchips. In a previous article, the person detailed how the U.S. military is seeking to develop technology that would enable it to monitor the health of a soldier and improve their performance in battle using RFID microchips. Number 9, automated license plate readers. More than 250 cameras in a district and its suburbs scan license plates in real time, helping police pinpoint stolen cars and fleeing killers. But the program quietly has expanded beyond what anyone had imagined a few years ago. With virtually no public debate, police agencies have begun storing the information from the cameras, building databases that document the travels of millions of vehicles. Number 10, face reading software. Isn't that lovely? Face reading software. Can computers tell what you're thinking just by looking at your face? Don't laugh. Such technology is actually being actively developed. The following is from a recent New Scientist article. If the computers were to stare all day, if the computers we stare at all day could read our faces, they would probably know us better than anyone. The vision may not be so far off. Researchers at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology Media Lab are developing software that can read the feelings behind facial expressions. In some cases, the computers outperform people. The software could lead to empathic devices and is being used to evaluate and develop better adverts. It's all about the money. It's all about the advertising dollars. That's what it is. Number 11, data mining. The company fits into a category called database marketing. It started in 1969 as an outfit called Demographics Incorporated, using phone books and other notable low-tech tools, as well as one computer, to amass information on voters and consumers for direct marketing. Almost 40 years later, Axiom has detailed entries for more than 190 million people and 126 million households in the U.S. and about 500 million active consumers worldwide. More than 23,000 servers in Conway, just north of Little Rock, collect and analyze more than 50 trillion data transactions a year. Data mining. Number 12, streetlights spying on us? Well, it is actually happening. New high-tech streetlights that can actually watch what you do and listen to what you are saying are being installed in some major U.S. cities. The following is from a recent article by Paul Joseph Watson for Infowars.com. Federally funded high-tech streetlights now being installed in America's cities are not only set to aid the DHS in making quote-unquote security announcements and acting as talking surveillance cameras, they are also capable of recording conversations, bringing the potential privacy threat posed by IntelliStreets to a whole new level. Automated ISP monitoring of your internet activity. If you download potentially copywritten software, videos, or music, your internet service provider has been watching, and they're coming for you. Specifically, they're coming for you Thursday, July 12th. That's the date when the nation's largest ISPs will all voluntarily implement a new anti-piracy plan that will engage network operators in the largest digital spying scheme in history and see some users' bandwidth completely cut off until they sign an agreement saying that they will not download copyrighted material. Word of the start date has been largely kept secret since ISPs announced their plans last June. The deal was brokered by the Recording Industry Association of America and the Motion Picture Association of America and coordinated by the Obama administration. Spying on us through our appliances. That's exactly what CIA Director David Petraeus says is coming. Petraeus says that web-connected gadgets will transform the art of spying, allowing spies to monitor people automatically without planting bugs, breaking or entering, or even donning a tuxedo to infiltrate a dinner party. Transformational is an overused word, but I do believe it properly applies to these technologies, says Petraeus. Particularly to their effect on clandestine tradecraft, items of interest will be located, identified, monitored, and remotely controlled through technologies such as radio frequency identification, sensor networks, tiny embedded servers, and energy harvesters, all connected to the next generation internet using abundant low-cost and high-power computing. That's the list. 14 incredibly creepy surveillance technologies that Big Brother will be using to spy on us. My question is why? Your answer should be the result of your research that I encourage you to do on this stuff. Okay? Staying on Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. I want to read you a picture. Yeah? Read you a caption on a picture. The most shocking fact in American history. Quote, the majority of freed slaves had a positive view of the institution of slavery, and many unabashedly wished to return to slavery, unquote. Why? Because they had to come to view the slave master as the provider of free services, stability, and the security. Born into slavery, they could not easily imagine a life of freedom. Now think about the assumptions you were born in. There's just so much, like libertycrier.com. Scroll on down. I didn't mention this yesterday on the show, but scroll on down to Amtrak joins the police state. Wendy McElroy. According to the Homeland Security today, the Department of Homeland Security has forged a new partnership with the Department of Transportation and Amtrak to battle the trafficking of humans. DHS will train over 8,000 frontline transportation employees and Amtrak Police Department officers on how to recognize and report trafficking indicators and suspected traffickers. Those frontline employees include anyone who comes into regular contact with the public, including ticket sellers. If Wikipedia can be trusted, there are currently about 450 Amtrak police who handle law enforcement and security of the government-owned passenger train system. And it goes on. Click on the link. Amtrak joins the police state. There's just so much. There's just so much that we need to know. Now, I'm not the only one talking about this. Okay? You can go to Spreaker.com. Check out the shows there. You might find one that suits you. But I tell the truth. I'm right there in your face. Here's the information. Here's what I know. I encourage you to go look it up. Okay? I don't know what more to say. I mean, I get on here every day and I'm talking about this stuff. I give you my view. I give you what's happening. Sometimes I'm wrong, and that's okay. Sometimes I'm wrong. Most of the time I'm right. I don't know what's happening in your neck of the woods, so you might want to email me with that information. Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. And if you're a whistleblower, I got a special address for you. Whistleblower Tips at USA.com. Whistleblower Tips at USA.com. If you want to email me directly at the show here, you can. It's freeamericaradio at USA.com. freeamericaradio at USA.com. At some point, I'm going to get on my website and talk to those folks that drop in the chat room there on the website. I'm usually over here on the Spreaker side of things. I'm not saying that you can't talk to me in the chat room or the little chat box down there. I'm just saying I'd like to go spend time on my website. It is for the show. I might as well go over there. You know? But anyway, I'm going to get out here a couple of minutes early. According to the countdown clock on the DJ panel here on Spreaker, it says 112 minutes and 50 seconds. On the clock on the computer, it says I have 5 minutes. I'll go with the clock on the computer. I did start a little late. I'm having problems with I guess it's the browser. It might be the Adobe Flash Player, or it might be something. I don't know. I'm just having some difficulty. So, let me get out of here. Go away. Spend some quality time sitting back, relaxing. Gonna go check on dinner. But I'd like to hear from you. Go to Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. If you got an article or something to post up there, you can. You can email me there as well. Or you can email me at libertyandfreedomnetwork@usa.com. libertyandfreedomnetwork@usa.com. You can also, like I said before, you can email me directly at the show at freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com. And we are here Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. I always like coming and telling you all the way that I see things, but I'd like to hear from you. So I have something going on Fridays, and it's called Open Forum Fridays. You have a way to call in and tell me your views. I'll give you some more details before Friday this week. Speaking of Friday, we have a guest on Friday for a half hour, Angel Clark, from The Angel Clark Show at radiofreedom.us or sussexcountyangel.com. I'm going to have her on for a half hour. Going to have a special show on Monday night at 7 p.m. Pacific. I'm going to be interviewing Marie D. Jones about her new book that she has out, Marie D. Jones. You can go check on Amazon or Barnes & Noble for that. I'm going to be interviewing her. And that's pretty much it. Come check us out Monday through Friday. Friday we have Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. Hopefully my friend and I can be able to do a show this Saturday. Hopefully. And it's called The Unnamed Show. That's what it's called, The Unnamed Show. It's with me and Laura Clemens, Reverend Laura Clemens. So check that out. That's at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. Check out all the shows on Spreaker. It's kind of nice to get a different view of things, isn't it? If you got an idea for a show, you can go to Spreaker.com. That's www.Spreaker.com. Check out the plans. Scroll on down to the bottom of the page. Check out the plans. And you might be surprised. It might be in your budget. This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce for the 23rd of October, 2012. You've been listening to the views expressed on the Liberty and Freedom Network on Spreaker.com. I'm here Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 Eastern. Email us at libertyandfreedomnetwork@usa.com, libertyandfreedomnetwork@usa.com. And remember, we the people have the power, for we are America.